this is our first Saber class. In the Saber class we are going to talk things that are not really covered by our forms of Saber Academy Vienna, but are more broad and even exotic, like the topic of this Saber class. You already see it, it's the Saberstaff. Ever since episode 1, people have been talking about the possibility of using this weapon in a real fight. Some people I've heard say it's a kind of suicide paddle, but I think the Saberstaff has indeed its value as a weapon when it comes to sabering in itself. So, first of all, if you want to use a Saberstaff like we do in Saber Academy Vienna, it is a bit different than most of the Saberstaffs you'll see whirling around. As you can see, what I use here is a bit of a shorter weapon, because these are two short saber hilts combined with a coupler, and we also use shorter blades for the Saberstaff. So essentially these are two shorter sabers combined. Why the shorter thing? Because it is more easy to handle, and it is faster in changing directions than with a standard or the standard saber blade size. And the most critical factor, it does get less in the way of oneself, because the greatest risk with a Saberstaff is to accidentally hit yourself while maneuvering it around. So the most basic thing is how to grip the Saberstaff. Essentially you have two ways of gripping the Saberstaff, and the most basic one is like this, both palms facing downwards. But you could also use a spear-like grip with one palm facing upwards. You'll have to change grips, especially in the spins we're going to see afterwards. But the most basic grip is like this, and from the grip we come naturally to the stance. In most cases we use a forward-oriented stance with your weight pushing forward on your front leg, and it is the most natural stance with the middle guard, where your Saberstaff has one blade in front towards your opponent, pointing upwards, and the back blade pointing downwards. If you shift your weight onto your back leg, you raise the back blade over your head, coming upwards, and that is the high guard. From the high guard, you let your front blade drop towards the ground, and you have the low guard. And now, if you turn your stuff perpendicular to the body, this is the cross From the cross guard, with the weight shifting onto your front leg again, from the front guard you can bring both blades to bear in no time. How to move with the Saberstaff? Footwork. Now you can always use the basic footwork from Form 1 especially. So this is passing steps, these are sliding steps, all of those. You will essentially not use much of the footwork of Form 2 because all the linear footwork is not really good with the Saberstaff. Especially things like the lunge will almost certainly lead to accidentally hitting yourself with the back blade. Especially important are the circular footwork things. So if you move with the saber, with the staff, you have to do circular steps so you keep yourself from hitting yourself with the back blade or with the front blade. So, right on to attacking with a Saberstaff. There are more or less two ways of successfully employing both blades of the Saberstaff. The most basic one is what I call the paddling attack. The paddling attack means I'll show you from the cross guard. You employ one blade, other blade. 1, 2, 1, 2. You can change lines of attack from here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you see, you handle the thing like a paddle, keeping it mostly in front of your body. The drawback is that it is really predictable, because each time one blade attacks, the other will inevitably go backward. To get around this drawback, because the Saberstaff is, in this case, it has an innate weakness, and that is that one blade is always in a fixed position to the other. You have to learn spins. The first spin, the most basic spin, is the vertical spin. It is mostly done from the middle guard or from the low guard, and you move the Saberstaff vertical along your body. So you begin by turning and by letting the front blade drop, turning the saber around, coming with the back hand to get the grip here and to complete the circle. You can do this more than once. So, what's the catch? The catch is you attack with the front blade, you are parried, you press down on the opponent's blade and come around with the back blade. Or you feint to come around with the back blade and again with the front blade. you don't have, and you will not, attack more than with one spin, because all this is rather useless, because the opponent can get used to it and just attack from the other side, and while you're spinning it's really hard to parry on your other side. So I'm going to show you the vertical spin with the blades lit. So you can also do it backwards to cover your retreat. And come forward again. The next basic spin is essentially the same, but begin from the high guard, and now begin by turning your front blade towards your side, so you can spin the stuff horizontally. This is like a windmill of destruction if you move aggressively forward, because even if your opponent catches a blow and parries it, you can also attack with the spinning motion with one hand. So begin by turning, catching, turning, catching. You see, especially with the blades lit, you can angle the blades, changing directions, and returning them. So, the next thing, and the most important thing when it comes to actual fighting, is how to defend yourself with the Saberstaff. Always remember, you parry with one of your blades. You never parry with any part of the hilt. Think we are trying to simulate a plasma blade that is able to cut through almost any material. So it would be possible to cut through your hilt, so you don't parry with it. And that's the hard thing, because when the blow comes from above, you're mostly inclined to parry like this. And this may ruin your hilt. So just don't do it. Static parries are another weakness of the Saberstaff. So if you parry a cut from above and it lands here, it will inevitably leverage your stuff around, because you have to absorb the energy in one way or another, and especially if you catch the opposing blade rather low on the debris, on the wick of the blade, the leverage is in your opponent's favor. So this will happen. The way around is not to parry in a static parry, but to displace the opponent's attack by hitting it along the way and hitting it in a direction where you can bring your back blade to an immediate counter. You displace, you counter. This is a simple paddling attack. And you displace, you counter. Displace, counter. Displace, counter. You see, that's where the paddling attacks come in real handy, because you can parry, you counter. you parry, you counter. This place, counter. It's always the padding motion, and you don't need the spins here. Where you do need the spin, another spin, is the one-handed figure eight spin, is when you want to use the leverage your opponent is applying. So imagine the opponent attacks with the horizontal cut 3, cut 9, you parry, and your blade will be pushed like this. So when this happens, you let go with one hand and turn around with the blow. So this is like this, and you see you can form a figure eight with the Saberstaff with one hand. You can either catch the opponent's blade along the way, or you can parry and counter with 2 strikes. I'll show you with the blades lit. You see? Yes, you could do something like this, but it gets you nowhere. But 1, 2, these are attacks, and when they land, they count. So, after all these basic movements, you'll have to get all those things into a fluid working technique. So you start in the middle guard, you use a horizontal spin, front, back, coming up in the high guard, horizontal spin, vertical spin, forward, backward, low guard, paddling attack, high guard, horizontal spin, cross guard, 1, 2, 1, 2, horizontal spin, coming up in a figure eight spin, vertical spin, and you end up in a high guard, dropping down to middle, and finish. This is a very, very simple form which will just get you to move with your Saberstaff, and the better you get, the faster your moves will get. And always remember, this is not a spinning exercise. This is an exercise for an actual fighting appliance. I will show you one of my first fights with the Saberstaff in Freeplay, or some things from this fight, so to illustrate what it means fighting with these things. Okay? So now, nothing left to say, but train hard and may the force be with you.